Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ball Around the Head. I'm joined yet again by Ben and Andrew, and every week in the NBA, there's always something new. One of the biggest topics this week, however, is there's videos coming out left and right of Bradley Beal just being extremely frustrated, like he doesn't want to be there anymore. There's some videos today that showed him on the court just standing still, not even like caring. And it's looking like it's going to get ugly pretty soon. So Ben, I'm going to ask you: should the Wizards trade Bradley Beal?
I think I think it could be a good time to trade Beal actually. Seeing how their season's going, the one thing that I was thinking might prevent that is that, maybe now Russ gets convinced that they're not trying to win now and he wants out. But with the way the season's going right now, it's not like they have much going on right now anyway. And like, if you're the Wizards, why not just go for a rebuild? Try to trade him to someone who could, like a contender, who could use that kind of scorer, and then get assets for the future. I think it would be smart if they found the right deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Ben. I remember when Russell Westbrook and James Harden were on the Rockets, and earlier in the season, I thought it would be just a good idea to trade them. Eventually, in the summer, when it got ugly, earlier this year, they traded him, James Harden, of course. So I think it would be a great idea to trade Bradley Beal to a contender. People are willing to pay. I mean, this guy's literally averaging the most points in the league.
Yep.
I haven't really speculated where he would go. I've heard a lot of Heat. I've heard the Heat could definitely use him. I've heard a lot of Lakers. I just don't think that's possible. The Mavs are clearly have issues, but I just don't think that's a good fit. So there's a lot of the Jazz probably would win the championship if they had him, but I don't think that's possible. But yeah, there's a lot of good teams that could use Bradley Beal right now. And just like what you mentioned, his effort, it's just not there. And Russell Westbrook you would probably want to trade both of them if you're going to go for a rebuild. No way you would want to keep Russell Westbrook without Bradley Beal, or Bradley Beal without Russell Westbrook, unless you try and get Bradley Beal some help with, because Russell Westbrook's clearly not working. I feel like an idiot when I had the Wizards like high in the rankings at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
I think we all had him decently high. Definitely not bottom three in the NBA.
Yeah.
But a little fun fact about the Wizards that I found interesting is they have 4 wins total on the season, and 2 of them is against Brooklyn. It's a little interesting tidbit, as the Wizards had an amazing comeback in the last couple seconds today against Brooklyn. This is an interesting story for me because for the past 2 years, year and a half, there's just been a bunch of rumors out there like, oh, Bradley Beal could be traded to the Heat, this, that. And then the GM, the owner, Bradley Beal himself said, yeah, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here for my whole career. And now it looks
we've heard that before.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Everyone was saying, yeah, we heard that with Anthony Davis, Paul George, all these people say they want to stay and they leave immediately. And you could see it. He looks like he does not want to be there. And as Andrew and you mentioned, like if he's gone, Russell Westbrook's gone too. That experiment failed. He had a great game tonight, but overall hasn't worked. Mm-hmm. And my thing with trading Beal is you're going to get a lot of assets back that are good. And right now, as currently constructed, the Wizards are not even close to a championship. They're not close. They need a lot more pieces. They need a true point guard. They need they've seen a bunch of pieces. Right now, they don't have them. So if they trade Beal and get a bunch of young pieces back, it could help a real rebuild that's not full of John Wall, huge contract, Russell Westbrook, huge contract, Bradley Beal shooting 40 shots a game. I think they should trade him now because he'll get a huge package. But the longer you wait and it looks like a Harden situation all over again, the lower the package might become. But yeah, I think Beal needs to get out of there. And I think the Wizards understand that because another rumor came out that when they signed the extension a couple of years ago, the Wizards told Beal, hey, if you want to get traded, I'll send you wherever you want to go. That's so like it's a cool thing there. Andrew mentioned the Lakers. Again, I don't know how financially that would work or draft-wise. The Nets have been rumored too. Again, not sure how that would work either. The Mavericks are a very interesting team to look out for. The Heat, who has been heavily rumored for them.
I think the Heat, if I had to choose right now, I'd say the Heat.
I think that's the most likely scenario.
What do you think about the Sixers?
The Sixers too. That'd be that's a good one too. Simmons probably the best asset out of all of them.
I would trade Ben Simmons. Get this People think he's good. People think that he's worth something. They trade him, bro. And he's younger. He's a lot younger. He could rebuild with the Wizards. So
I mean, for the Sixers, I think that'd be a way better fit than Simmons. Like Beal is a way better fit than Simmons, in my opinion. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens if the rumor comes out that Beal demands a trade. Then you'll hear a lot of rumors from a bunch of teams. But I mentioned one of these teams as a suitor for Bradley Beal because stuff's not going right over there in Dallas. It's getting ugly. I believe
we're not in Kansas anymore.
The Mavericks are 13th in the West right now. They're currently 8-12. They've been losing. They lost 2 straight to the Jazz, I think, without Donovan Mitchell. They lose some pretty bad games to like the Hornets and whatever. It's not pretty. Luka was very frustrated the other day saying, I don't know what's going on. We need help. Andrew, I'm going to ask you, as you're wearing the Mavericks jersey, what is wrong with the Mavericks?
The 3 E's: energy, effort, and emotion. Because I look at Luka Doncic, my favorite player in the NBA, and it makes my heart break. He just doesn't look like he's enjoying his time on the court. He has his head down. Look, he's going to drop a triple-double, and he'll be upset about it. And I don't blame him. His team is losing. So, I mean, his role as a leader of the team, because there is no doubt he's the leader of that team. The team is built around Luka Doncic. He's franchised around Luka Doncic. Literally, number 37. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, Luka Doncic. I believe number 42 in 2019's most marketable athletes. So Luka Doncic is the leader of that Mavs team, and if he's not really showing that he thinks the team can win, or he's not showing that he's trying his hardest to win, nobody else on the team is going to want to follow that lead. And I say that was emotion. I mean, energy too. Like kind of the same thing. Head down, just not really playing, especially on defense. No defensive energy. And I understand that Kristaps Porzingis has not been playing. He's been injured. I have him in my fantasy, literally a waste of a pick because the last 6 weeks he's had 0 points for me, and I lost this week, and I'm pretty upset about it. But and to the Romos, both the Romos, oh my god. But energy, effort, and emotion. So yeah,
I like that answer. Ben, what you got?
Please. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them. Honestly, it could be an effort thing. Obviously, they're missing Kristaps Porzingis, and maybe that losing Seth Curry might have been a bigger deal than we thought in the offseason. He's playing great with Philadelphia right now. But I believe in the Mavericks to bounce back. I've not counted them out yet. I had them. I think top 5, definitely top 10 in my power rankings. I think they'll right the ship at some point.
I had them at 3.
I want it to be on the record. People who are, I think there's a couple people watching, can go back and watch the tape. I had the Mavericks at like 12 or 13, and Andrew and Ben were just yelling at me saying, why do you have them so low? Look where we're at now. Anyways, I'm with both of you guys. It's just interesting to see what's happening there. I don't think they're going to fire their coach. The coach is beloved by a bunch of people, teams, executives around the league. So they fire him. Another team's probably going to fire their head coach just to get him. Luka's putting up insane numbers, but sometimes he's just the only one doing that. Josh Richardson, who people thought was a great trade, Seth Curry for Josh Richardson, because they could get Luka defender. As Ben mentioned, Seth Curry is striving in Philadelphia. Josh Richardson is not doing that great in Dallas. Porzingis has been healthy and then not healthy all year. He doesn't look like himself quite yet. Moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is Luka needs help. And he basically said that in his interview the other day, saying what's going on around here. He needs help. That's why I mentioned Bradley Beal. People were mentioning Victor Oladipo, although the Rockets are doing surprisingly really good. So I'm not sure they're going to trade Oladipo. But the Mavericks need to move because this team is not good. Last year, they had the number 1 offense in the NBA and almost in NBA history. I believe it was NBA history. And this year, they're ranked, I believe, 19th. They're the second worst rebounding percentage. It's just not pretty. Just that's a little nerd stats real quick. But yeah, Luka needs help. He's putting up, I believe, like 28, 7 and 9, something like that. He's putting up insane numbers. Not the best shooting percentages, but I mean, it's Luka. He's a once in a generation talent. You don't want him to get like a Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and just want out. You got to take care of your superstar. Give him what he wants. Picks don't mean anything anymore. And by the way, they need to win because they don't have their pick this year. The Knicks have it. So they can't afford to tank and be horrible. So they need to win. So hopefully there's good days ahead for the Mavericks, but right now it's not looking so pretty.
Yeah, wait, really quick to mention. It's funny that both, and I'm going to draw some comparison between the Heat and the Mavericks, because like the Heat only go as far as Jimmy Butler's going to take them, and same thing with the Mavericks as far as Luka Doncic. And both those teams were in the bubble last year, so maybe it's like bubble hangover. They're like, the teams that weren't in the bubble are just really like, we don't want to not play in the NBA at the end of the season. They know what it feels like to not play. I mean, these teams, the Mavericks could be taken for granted being in the playoffs, especially now. They're not. I don't think they're definitely no bubble, hopefully, but you know what I mean. It's just an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah, you could see with the Nuggets, they started off bad, and you could see with some players. Anthony Davis is, still putting up good numbers, but not as good as he was last year.
Yeah.
A lot of players are not performing as well. So some players are adjusting. LeBron is not even human, so he's just playing like LeBron normally does. There's a bunch of other
LeBron and I.
They're just striving, but yeah, you could see it with a bunch of players. Like they're just not the same, and there's a bunch of injuries. There's a bunch of stuff going on. But you mentioned the Heat, so let's talk about the Heat. I forgot which show I was watching, but they actually had a serious discussion on if the Heat could potentially miss the playoff, because right now they are 7-12, good enough for 13th in the East. Jimmy Butler has missed, I believe, like 12 of their 19 games or something like that. He just came back yesterday. They had a COVID outbreak amongst their team. I think Tyler Hero today was exposed to COVID, so he's going to be out.
His roommate. Like real quick, Tyler Hero's been out because of an injury. Of course, I have him on my fantasy team. He comes back for 2 days just to leave for another 2 weeks because of health and safety protocols. And I would never want the NBA to risk their season for my fantasy team. But if you can give a dog a bone, come on now.
But anyways, Tyler Hero is out. Goran Dragic missed games. Bam Adebayo missed games. I think Duncan Robinson and someone else I forgot are the only people who've played every single game for the Heat. And it's not pretty. So I'm going to ask you, Ben, are the Heat going to miss the playoffs?
No, they're not going to miss the playoffs. I mean, they're at the 13th seed, but they're actually only half a game out of the 10 slot right now, which is you make the playoffs as a 10 seed this year. We saw what they did last year, and the team is not all that different. They're not gonna continue down this path, aside from some incredibly unlucky fortune for them, like Tyler Hero getting this having to sit out and stuff like that. But once they're back together, they'll be back in the playoffs for sure.
All right, Andrew.
I mean, I was really leaning towards they won't make the playoffs, but I guess what Ben just mentioned, I totally forgot about the 10th seed. And I actually do agree now that they probably will make the playoffs, only because, their veteran experience, and a lot of the veteran teams, just it takes a while for them to get into the groove. I really don't see I'm looking at the standings. I don't see the Bulls making the playoffs over them. I don't see the Magic making the playoffs over them. The Raptors, I could easily see, even though they were the champions 2 years ago, not making the playoffs. And I hope the Hawks don't make the playoffs. So there's just I really do see the Heat making the playoffs, but it'll be close. I think it might be the last week or two in the season until we really find out who's going to be in the playoffs. But I think they'll make it.
Yeah, to you guys' point, the East has always been horrible at the bottom of the East. It's been a bunch of bad records. I just did the math real quick. I think if the Heat were in the West, they'd be like 4 games out or 3 games out. And in the East, they're 1.5 games out of 8th seed right now. So literally a 2-game winning streak, 2-game losing streak, and they're back in the playoffs. So yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they've had too many injuries, too many COVID people out, safety protocols. They have a very good coach. They have a very good culture around there. Jimmy Butler. They said there was a picture, or they said he lost about 12 pounds, but he looked decent in his game back. Hero's been like, just all these people are out. But when we saw last year, when fully healthy, they're a good team. They'll fight game in and game out. And ultimately, they're going to make the playoffs, especially in this East. Like Andrew mentioned, there's the Bulls, Magic, Hornets, Hornets could make it.
I think the Hornets will make the playoffs. I think the Hornets are going to make the playoffs.
To Ben's point as well, I think they're for sure going to make the play-in. For sure make the play-in. I'd be stunned if they didn't. So hopefully, because like Andrew, knock on wood, but I think the league has done a pretty good job with the COVID outbreaks recently. I feel like there hasn't been that much anymore. They've tightened the protocols, and it's shown. There's been just the heat. I think I want to say that the Clippers had a scare, but nothing really happened from there. There's been a couple scares, but no really outbreaks. So hopefully it's done. Hopefully they have just nothing going on, and that'd be great, but who knows? So we'll stick to the East, even though the bottom is pretty bad. The top is actually pretty good. I think, let me check real quick. 1 through 6 seed are separated by 4 games. I've learned as a Celtics fan, you could go on a winning streak and go to first, and you could go on a losing streak and drop all the way to 5th. Just like that, in a week, you're done. So I'm going to ask you, Andrew, who is winning the East in the regular season?
Yeah, well, I really want to say the 76ers because this year I'm actually a huge fan of them, but I'm going to have to go with the Nets just because we have so much of the regular season left, and the Nets – are finally getting that momentum with James Harden being on the team for a while. Kyrie Irving is not, being Kyrie as much anymore. So I just think that the Nets chemistry, and it takes time to build chemistry, but once the Nets chemistry is built, they'll definitely just start steamrolling in the East, even though they lost.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Nets as well. I think they're only going to get better due to the fact that these guys just came together and the chemistry is going to take a while. Obviously, this was a bad loss to the Wizards today. But by the way, what 2 teams would be more likely to score 145 in regulation than the Nets and the Wizards?
Madness.
It's because Russell Westbrook does not want to lose to KD. It's just that simple. He just refuses to lose to him.
I think there's still bad blood.
Yeah, I think it's more James Harden and Westbrook actually this year. But Russell Westbrook definitely is taking it personally about how these two are teaming up behind his back. Like, come on, bring him along. He'll change.
And the Sixers, they're in it as well, but the problem is they just can't win on the road. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Even when there's no fans, they just are allergic to the road. Last
it's
season,
the leadership.
6, and this season they're 4-5. Meanwhile, they're 10-1 at home. But I think they'll be right there with in it with how Joel Embiid's been playing, and the Bucks. Like normally, like at the beginning of the year, I had them up there at the top of the East, but they just haven't looked good. I mean,
they've had very inconsistent results, to be honest.
Yeah, Giannis. Yep. What did he say the other day? He's like, "Oh, I'm trying so hard," or he said something weird. I saw like a weird quote where he's like, "Everybody's against you, but you just have to push yourself. No one's gonna push for you. You have to motivate yourself." I'm like, Giannis, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball. What do you mean you're not getting motivated? Like, and he's motivating himself. Like, yeah, you're dog in the playoffs. I had to say it. I'm sorry, pardon my French, but Giannis is dog in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've had losses to the Hornets. They lost to the Pelicans, who have been very bad this year. Lonzo and LaMelo just destroyed the Bucks in back-to-back nights. And then they win against I forgot who they won against. I'm just blanking on me right now. But they've had some decent wins. They've had some bad losses. So who knows what to make of that team. Mike Budenholzer has been rumored to be on the hot seat. And I can see why. In the past 2 postseasons, he has not adjusted at all. He has gone with the same thing, and that's how they've been destroyed in the playoffs the past 2 years. But back to the question, I'm going to go opposite of you guys, and it hurts me to say this, but I'm going to say the 76ers. to win the East in the regular season. I don't think they're going to win the East, but in the regular season, I do. I think they're striving, as Ben mentioned. Their road record is pretty bad, but not as bad as last year. Last year, their road record was worse than the Knicks, which is bad. But this year, it's decent. They had a good win tonight against the Pacers, and I think Embiid didn't even play. But yeah, they're 2.5 games above the Nets right now. I think the Nets are going to take a Warriors-like approach, like the 2018-17 like Warriors, and just chill in the regular season, and then come postseason, they're going to be like, boom, this is who we are.
That's fair.
And I mean,
Harry doesn't want to flip a switch though.
According to him, he couldn't guard a stick tonight. Directly to Kyrie. And by the way, I want to shout out a very good analyst on the show who said last week that the Nets should sign Amon Shumpert, and they did just that, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. So whoever said that was very smart.
That was definitely Ben, because I have no idea how the name.
It was me.
Oh, I thought who's one of us. I'm like, it wasn't me. It was not me.
But anyways, I think the Nets are still going to probably win the East overall, but the Celtics have a bunch of injury issues. The Pacers. They're good. They're a lot better than I thought. And Milwaukee, we just talked about them. So I have the Sixers winning the East in the regular season. So I'm actually very excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. A couple of days ago, the AllStar Voting begun. They're having talks amongst the NBA Players Association and the NBA saying, are we going to play a game? It's just going to be the game. No slam dunk, no 3-point. It's still, the talks are ongoing. I would be surprised if they did it. I don't know why they would do it. That'd be a little dumb in my opinion. Just we'll save that for another episode. But they're going to do it anyways with AllStar Voting, and it happened. And I want to know, Ben, you go first. Who are your All-Star starters?
Well, first of all, this feels really early. I don't know if it actually is, but this feels way too early to be voting for All-Star.
Yeah. Maybe 72 games this year, Ben. So think about that. Maybe it's a little different.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, for the West, I have Curry, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Nikola Jokic.
You're so fake. Where's Davis?
Oh,
Davis
doesn't deserve that.
We'll get there in a minute.
For the East, Andrew, I have your guy Trae Young, Jaylen Brown,
Yes. I would have been mad if you didn't say him.
AD, Giannis, and Joel Embiid.
Okay, Andrew.
Wait, hold on, be right back. I gotta get this. Okay. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. I got Zion Williamson this year because New Orleans represent, like, I'm basically half New Orleans, New Orleanian, but I love New Orleans. So James, Davis, Zion, Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, because I do love Chris Paul. That's my West. And then my East, I have Bradley Beal. Because I feel so bad. You gotta vote Bradley Beal. Every year, Fred VanVleet, he's so good. Joel Embiid, Gordon Hayward, and Tobias Harris. So those are my All-Stars. Because I don't like to vote for the obvious ones, and I know I probably could have. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, because they're gonna get votes.
You just voted for Joel Embiid.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid's my boy. So, and I vote for LeBron and Davis because they're the Lakers, and Doncic's my favorite player. And I think Joel Embiid's I've never voted for him before, so I like Joel Embiid this year. He definitely MVP candidate, deserves it, and I hope he might be the captain even. But I think it'll be KD.
It's probably to be just KD and LeBron.
Brom.
Yeah, probably what it normally is. I'm not going to self-promote too much, but I actually just wrote an article about this the other day saying who should start and who will start, because let's face it, the fans vote for the popular name. They vote for the Alex Carusos, the Taco Falls, those troll kind of people instead of the people who actually deserve it. So I'm going to say that's why I said the question is who are your All-Stars, not who will be All-Stars. Mine in the West is Damian Lillard, which I'm surprised you guys completely left off. Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic, who I think I don't know if this is a bold take or not, but I think Jokic is the MVP favorite. I think he had a great game today. Got me 83 fantasy points. Just want to put that out there. And for the East, I have Bradley Beal. I feel like even not my pick, I think just overall, I think people feel bad for Bradley Beal, so I think he's going to get voted in. Jaylen Brown, if you don't vote for Jaylen Brown, you're just hating at this point. He's playing great basketball right now.
Jalen who?
What?
Jalen who?
Kevin Durant. And I don't want you guys to get mad at me. Please do not get mad at me. I put Jason Tatum.
Oh my God.
Okay, hold on. Before you do that, Jason Tatum, look at his stats. He is right there with Giannis. He's actually shooting better than Giannis this year. Doesn't have the rebound, I think the assist, but he's right there with Giannis.
I mean, they were right here with the Lakers the other day too, and then I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened.
I mean, our best perimeter defender hurt his calf. But, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but it's gonna.
We still won the game.
I'm just gonna move on from that. Anyways, and then obviously Joel Embiid. He's playing phenomenal this year. It's not really competition for the front court. But yeah, I fully expect just probably the prototypical Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant, like LeBron, those people to get voted in when they shouldn't be voted in. But yeah, I like your guys' choices. I respect Andrew's idea of voting the people that probably wouldn't get voted in because, I mean, you already know the LeBrons, the KDs are going to get their votes. So that's awesome. So yeah, that's all we got. We'll be back next Sunday, same exact time with another episode.
Wait. Whoa. Slow your roll. Real quick, you did mention earlier about the All-Star game. There's rumors about in Atlanta. I thought I saw Atlanta that might be they're thinking of it. But I don't know why they wouldn't have a dunk contest. That would be a lot more safe than a game. Don't you think? Like, you can do a virtual dunk contest. You can definitely do a virtual shootout too.
True.
I don't see a virtual All-Star game unless you're playing 2K.
Get them ideas. I don't know if you guys saw this during quarantine when it first started.
The virtual horse?
ESPN hosted a horse tournament, and that was one of the worst productions I have ever seen in my life, and I'm not even joking. The quality on half the people's videos were like 1954 phones, which weren't even a thing. It was just bad, and I get probably if they did the 3-point, they'd probably be like in their home arenas, and it'd probably be like televised or whatever. So that is a good idea. I think you should definitely email the NBA about that. That sounds like a sarcastic comment, but I'm actually kind of serious. It's kind of a good idea. But I do agree, but I think just probably money-wise, they probably have the All-Star game first because I do agree that All-Star game is probably the least safe option out of all of them. But, I mean, it's the NBA. I trust what they're doing. Trust Adam Silver. He's probably the best commissioner in all of sports. So I actually like
we trust.
Exactly.
What would Silver do?
So, anyways, thank you guys so much for your support. Yeah, I already said this. We'll see you guys next week. And yeah, that's all I got. So peace out.
Lakers back to back.